What's up, everybody? Jimmy Faluca's back here with Frank. Hey, Frank, how's it going, buddy?
I'm doing good, James.
Yeah, I think we did good in that first segment, don't you?
Yeah, we got a lot more to cover.
Oh, yeah, we got a lot more to cover. So, the Royal Rumble. Kind of seems familiar to last year, Frank, like I said in the beginning of the first segment. A lot of disappointed wrestling fans out there, but they're all crybabies, right?
Yeah, they're in another clusterfuck, and last night, canceled WWE Network trended.
Oh, yes. Thousands of people canceled their subscriptions, myself included. And I'm going to look into the camera as I say this, because this is aimed at everyone who has ever told me you're always giving them money so you don't have a right to bitch and moan. Well, guess what, fucktards? I canceled my subscription. I'm not giving them any money. But you're still going to complain about what I have to say. So, screw you. It pisses me off, Frank. It pisses me off because the writing was on the fucking wall. From the second that Bryan walked into the room, he was the most over guy in that building. Can someone explain to me why he couldn't win that match? Why Dolph Ziggler couldn't win that match? Why Dean Ambrose couldn't win that match? Those three guys I just named were the three guys I had no problem with winning that Rumble, so it wasn't just a one-track mind. Much as I love Bryan, you have to have a plan B. Like Triple H said, you have to have a plan B.
First of all, I don't even know why they should have kept. They should have made Bryan come back after the Royal Rumble.
Absolutely. If this is what they were going to do, they should have kept him out until the fucking. They should have kept him out until the fucking end of the Rumble. I mean,
no, I'm talking about like they should have brought him back like tonight.
Like, yeah. I mean, if this is what you were going to do, why in the hell would you? Why would you bring him back? It's a waste.
Because I'll tell you why. Because they're greedy, and they figured Daniel Bryan will bring in more subscriptions.
So then, if he's a draw, why not give him the match? It makes no. It's such.
I don't really think they really. They're just sometimes their greed overtakes their thinking.
I mean, are they that hypocritical that they say that this guy's not in actuality? Because I had someone else, some insignificant asshole, tell me tonight, Daniel Bryan's not best for business because he doesn't draw. Well, then, if they just brought him back to up the subscriptions, why would they dump him out then, like the way they did? They dumped him out like he was nothing. Like he didn't beat Evolution on his own at WrestleMania 30.
Well, now I'll explain. Maybe
because they're not going to do what they did last year, meaning that they're not going to put him in another triple threat match and give him the belt again. They're not doing that. There is no doubt in my mind they are not doing that. And if anything, what last night proved is everything Daniel Bryan confirmed in his interview.
Yeah, that was the best quote I read online today was that Vince McMahon is against doing another triple threat match because he says it's going to the well one too many times.
How is it going to the well one too many times?
It comes from a guy who puts Cena in every main event for the last 2 years.
Yes!
But that's going to the well too many times.
Yeah, Daniel Bryan winning the belt 2 years in a row is going to the well too many times, but Cena being the champion 15 fucking times when the fans have been sick of him since the second reign is not going to the well too many times. Give me a fucking break.
But now I'll say something.
And the funny thing is, Frank, when he got eliminated, the crowd died. And then once they realized he was gone, they were pissed. Right or wrong? Were they pissed?
That's what I'm saying. Why go through all that? Why go through all this trouble? Just hold them off until the day.
Exactly. Then he wouldn't look like such a schmuck. Because he looked like a schmuck last night.
No, he doesn't look like a schmuck.
I thought he looked like a schmuck. He got dumped out like he was nothing. He was not even there. He wasn't even in there for 10. He was the number 10 entry. And he was in there for 10 minutes. The most over guy in the company.
Well, again, now we have to think about, is he at full strength?
I have no doubt in my mind that he is healed. Otherwise, he would not have come back. He suffered one other major injury in his career when he detached his retina. He suffered one other major injury, and his mindset is, I am not going to step back into the ring unless I feel I can go 100%. That is the kind of guy he is. That is the way he is. That is his mindset. I have followed a lot of things that he has said closely enough to know if he was not 100% Frank, he would not have come back.
Right. And also, let's just say he would have won the Royal Rumble and he goes to WrestleMania and he wins the belt. How long is he going to keep the belt after WrestleMania?
What I told you what would have happened. They would have had Rollins cash in on him right there on the spot, and then you do it.
Maybe not right on the spot, but maybe
the night after.
The night after.
But that's what I'm saying. You would have got a Seth Rollins.
Again, we don't see a run by Daniel Bryan with the belt.
Yeah, but you want to know what? I think that a Seth Rollins Daniel Bryan feud would be so good. The fans.
But what good is it if Daniel Bryan holds the belt for 4 weeks?
I'm sorry?
I said, what good is it going to do if he holds the belt for 4 weeks?
What do you mean? Who holds the belt for 4 weeks?
Daniel Bryan. I'm saying, what if he...
No! He wouldn't hold the belt even for a week if I had my way. He would beat Brock Lesnar. Seth Rollins would cash in on him because, let's be honest, if I've got the money in the... Let's think of this logically, Frank, because we're both smart individuals. If I'm holding the Money in the Bank briefcase and the newly crowned champion just got through a war with the man who beat the streak, he's never going to be any weaker. Is there a better opportunity? Do you understand what I'm saying?
I don't know.
But that's what I'm saying, though. Listen, if I'm a Daniel Bryan fan and I'm saying I would have been okay with the cash-in at Mania, what does that tell you? It's not all about him. It's about doing the right thing. Because let's be honest, Roman Reigns, and now I'm going to talk about him, and then you can go back to whatever point you were going to make. I am a Roman Reigns fan. I like him. I like the Superman punch. I like the way he does the spear. I happen to like his drop kick when the guy's hanging off the bottom rope. I like the moves that he does. What he does is good for me. However, to put him in the position that he's going to be in at WrestleMania, he needs to actually be over with the audience.
Right. Well,
and the fact of the matter is, he's not as over as Ambrose, he's not as over as Ziggler, and he's not half as over as Daniel Bryan is. So, with that being said, not only did they push him into that spotlight long before he was ready, similar to another guy that used to do a spear in WCW, Goldberg, but instead of taking the guy and instead of making the fans take to him on their own, and then building the Roman Empire to where the fans would be behind it, they completely ruined him. I don't blame Roman Reigns. I blame the WWE for taking one of their most promising young prospects and basically fucking handicapping him. They ruined him, Frank. To me, they have put Roman Reigns in a position now, in the same position they put Dave Bautista in last year. And it's a shame.
And God forbid if that match doesn't live up to the hype at WrestleMania with Brock Lesnar.
Which it won't, because Brock Lesnar, as much as I love Brock, he's in there with someone that isn't decent. He ain't gonna be able to pull a rabbit out of his hat. Because let's be honest, Roman Reigns is green as goose shit. As much as I like those 2-3 moves I named, even I'll admit he's not the best worker. He's not even. I could name 10 workers in the WWE that are better than Roman Reigns in that ring.
Right. But I think even if he gets his moment at WrestleMania, he's not going to hold the belt for too long.
But isn't that a waste of the streak?
I don't know. I guess. Hey, listen, we always complain about WWE building stars. So I guess this is their way of building a star.
I'm sorry?
I said we always complain about WWE not building any new stars. I guess this is their way of building a new star.
But their way of building Roman Reigns is hurting him. So they're not building him, they're hurting him.
Yeah.
That's not how you build a star. You don't build a star by having the fans despise him. We don't need another Cena.
Unless he turns heel, unless he goes heel.
which that ain't gonna happen. I don't foresee him turning heel. Which that would probably be the best. It worked for his cousin. I mean, not for nothing. I was listening to Taz on his podcast earlier today. He did like a 15-bit discussion about the Rumble, and even he admits it was bullshit. Taz turned around and he said, not for nothing, they were trying to force feed Rocky Maivia, and the fans resented him. But then, when he was able to find his niche, they loved him. Why couldn't they do the same thing with Roman Reigns? He's the only guy out of the entire Shield that kept the theme music and kept the look of the Shield. Why is that?
Because he needs it.
That's sad. That is sad. That's all I have to say about that. You take it from here, Frank. I'll be listening.
Oh, all right, well, I said there's a solution they could come up with to fix this. And I think at the next pay-per-view, they need to have Daniel Bryan face Seth Rollins and take the Money in the Bank briefcase. I think that would really shake things up, and let Daniel Bryan hold the briefcase. What do you think about that?
If Daniel Bryan holds the briefcase, then when does he use it?
I think that'll please the fans to WrestleMania. I mean, what's Daniel Bryan going to do at WrestleMania?
Apparently, he's going to be fighting Sheamus.
Yeah, right. So at least he has the briefcase, and that'll appease the fans. That'll quench the fans' anger, knowing that he has the briefcase and he's going to cash in.
Yeah, but do you honestly believe for a single second that wasting him on Sheamus is the right way to go?
Listen, at this point,
because look at the WrestleMania card, the way it's shaping up. Reigns versus Lesnar, Sting versus Triple H, Cena versus Rusev, Undertaker, Bray Wyatt.
Probably going to be Undertaker versus Bray Wyatt.
Undertaker and Bray Wyatt, and Rollins versus Randy Orton. So you're going to tell me the most over guy in the business is going to be sixth down on the card?
Yeah, that's why they need to. I mean, we don't know how the fans are going to react next week. You know, like I said, this was just a bad day tonight. They're lucky they got the snowstorm.
And let me ask you this: if this rage doesn't go away, then what do they do?
If what?
If this rage from the fans doesn't go away, what do they do?
That's what I'm saying. I think right now the only a quick solution would be for Bryan to face Rollins and take that Money in the Bank championship. That way, the fans will sleep good at night knowing he has a chance to get the shot.
I had some asshole suggest that Daniel Bryan should turn heel.
No way.
Thank you. Unfucking believable. I mean, Frank.
Just think about it. Next pay-per-view, the pay-per-view ends with Daniel Bryan holding the Money in the Bank case.
No, the main event to Fastlane.
That could carry him through WrestleMania.
The main event to Fastlane is Big Show versus Roman Reigns in the Last Man Standing match.
Oh my God.
I mean, Frank, am I wrong for thinking that this is bullshit? What they've done?
They advertised tonight that on SmackDown, Bryan's going to face Kane again in a casket.
They might as well just stick Bryan right in the fucking casket and drop it in the river.
How many times did he have to face Kane? I mean, is there an obsession with Kane versus Bryan? I mean, it's been done over with. It's dead. Who cares?
It's called beating a dead horse, Frank. That's what they're doing. The horse has been fucking eviscerated with a wooden cooking spoon, and they're still poking it to see if it's breathing.
Oh, didn't they have a stretch match like last
No,
summer?
they never had a stretch match. They were supposed to, but Bryan was still on the DL.
Oh my God, who cares? Kane is irrelevant at this point.
Yeah, but he was at one of the Final Four in the Royal Rumble last night. That was a good business move, right? That was a good.
Again, that's to put Reigns over, so he could throw out the two biggest guys.
And let me ask you this: The Rock came out to raise Roman Reigns' hand. Did he leave the building more over than he was when he came in?
No.
Then why is he main eventing WrestleMania?
I don't know.
Because they're fucking idiots. And because we don't run a wrestling company, we're not allowed to have opinions, Frank. That's the new thing. Like, okay, I got this hat here. I'm a diehard fucking Mets fan. I love my team. They suck. And I can say that they suck all I want. Because I'm a loyal fan. And I'm allowed to criticize the team that I'm loyal to. I'm a Roman Reigns fan. I don't want to see this guy get fucking Cena heat. I mean...
I think that's crazy that people say you don't have a right to complain.
Frank, you need to be more active on the page and see all this garbage.
I watch.
I mean, not for nothing. You have one guy after a fucking another that says you should just enjoy it for what it is, keep your mouth shut, and not have a fucking opinion. And then they also have the balls to say, oh, Bryan had his run.
It's not over yet.
Excuse me?
It's not over yet. Until those fans stop cheering.
Did Daniel Bryan have his run at the top? In your mind?
It was a tease. He got hurt.
It's funny how Rob Constantino turns around and says, oh, he's injury prone, so they can't use him. But Cena gets injured fucking 25 times a year, and the second he comes back, they put the fucking strap back on him.
Anybody could get hurt. Anybody could get hurt at any time.
That's what I'm saying. Injuries are part of the fucking game. The guy suffered his first injury in 15 years.
Didn't Roman Reigns get hurt?
I'm sorry?
Roman Reigns was hurt, right?
Yes! Yes! Yes!
Anybody could get hurt.
It's this fucking notion, that the fucking company can do no wrong that just pisses me the fuck off. It pisses me off. These fucking apologists. And you know, Frank, anyone that watches our YouTube channel knows that Frank and I are very political men. There are tons of fucking apologists for the United States government, like Bill O'Reilly and Sean Hannity. These cockblowers that friggin' just, they take everything that Obama says and they say, oh, it's the gospel. You have to believe it. It's bullshit. And it's the same fucking thing. WWE is a multi-million-dollar company. They're the same thing. They use propaganda and they try to badmouth the people that disagree with them. It just... And then they have these friggin' fans that basically what they are, they're fanboys that think that everything they do is right, and if the fans are complaining, that they're crybabies. That's the new thing now. The Daniel Bryan fans are crybabies. They feel wrongly entitled. That's the thing now, Frank.
Listen, I mean, any show on TV, if people don't like the story, they stop watching, the ratings go down, and the show gets canceled, right?
Well, I can tell you right now, Frank, thousands of people cancel their network subscriptions, and I'm one of them. They are not getting my money unless they fucking earn it. That's my mindset. If the WWE wants my money out of my wallet, you're going to have to earn it. You're not just going to get it from me because I'm wired to fucking watch, like some schmuck that I know thinks I am.
Well, let's hope. Let's see how many of those people that canceled don't renew.
I'm not renewing. I already told Joe Valenti, I already told Christian, look for another house to have WrestleMania because I can tell you right now, I've hosted WrestleMania in my house for years. First year, I'm not going to have WrestleMania in my house. All kidding aside here. Because I don't think fucking people understand. Do you know how difficult of a decision that was for me to make?
Oh, definitely.
Do you realize that this is... Here, I'm rolling up my left sleeve. See that? That's how fucking loyal I have been since I'm 3 years old. That symbol of The Undertaker that sits on my fucking arm, I proudly display that on my flesh because I love Mark Calloway. I worship the ground he walks on because he's my personal hero. Because he's done something in wrestling that very few, if any, at the top spots have ever done, including Hogan, including Piper, including Austin, including Rock. He always put the business before himself. Austin didn't always put the business before himself. He fucking walked out when he didn't want a job to Lesnar. Did The Rock put the business before himself? No! He put Hollywood before the business. Did Hogan put the business before himself? No! You know how many guys Hogan fucking held down? Shawn Michaels, who always gets praised as the greatest performer. Did he always put the business first? No! The Undertaker. The Undertaker is one of the only people, aside from fucking Andre the Giant, that always put the business first. And that's why I respect him so much. And when I see the company that I grew up always being in the minority with, oh, you watch that fake wrestling crap, I always supported them. I always...
What does that mean, fake wrestling crap? It's a show.
Exactly.
Anything you watch on TV is fake.
Everything on... My father even said earlier today, everything on television is fake. Gotham's fake. Breaking Bad is fake. The Walking Dead is fake. Lord of the Rings is fake. Avatar is fake. But the funny thing is, I look at their ratings compared to 10 years ago, and they're cut in half. Their fan base was literally cut in half. And when they're clamoring for subscriptions to their network, and they're basically telling the fans to fuck off, to me, they forfeit their right to be mad at the audience. I mean, what do you say to that, Frank?
Well, listen, they're not going to change until they get hit in the pocket.
But what I'm trying to say to you is, if they deliberately fucked over the fans, do they still have a right to be mad at them for the fan? Do they literally still have? If they fucked over the fans, which it's obvious that that's what they did, do they have a right to be angry at the audience for reacting the way they did?
Of course not.
Thank you.
The audience pays. The customer's always right.
First order of business, you never know more than your consumer. And if you think otherwise, you're a fucking idiot. There, I said it. I said it.
And the customer's right. I mean,
exactly. And, I'm not being vague about it. The second you start thinking that you know better than your consumer, then you're a fucking idiot. Because, check the ratings. You don't have to believe me. Go on Google. Everyone's got a fucking cell phone. Go on Google, check the fucking ratings, and see for yourself that their ratings have dropped like a turd in a punch bowl. That's the second time I used that quote. I love Jim Cornette. But
Well, the ratings these days is different. So,
yeah, but still, the fact of the matter is this, Frank. They're making money. Yeah, they're making money, but less people watch the show and enjoy it more now than they ever have. That's a problem. And let me tell you something. When I saw The Rock's face last night, when he was raising Roman Reigns' hand, I haven't seen that look on The Rock's face since SummerSlam 2002. Do you remember that night?
He was put in a position, he was put in a bad position.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. The Rock was put in a very bad position.
You know what a huge favor that is to WWE? He's one of the biggest box office stars.
Absolutely. The Rock is one of the biggest names that this planet has. And he was in the ring...
out of his busy schedule to help WWE,
and he gets a reaction like that. Now, when The Rock gets booed by a wrestling crowd, that ain't good. That ain't good, Frank.
No, it's not. But like I said, who knows now what's going to happen from now until WrestleMania? And,
well, I tell you something, Frank. I wasn't going to wait until WrestleMania. I originally said. Once they brought back the authority, I said to many people, after WrestleMania 31, I will give serious consideration to canceling my subscription. After what I saw last night, I pulled the plug on it. I'm proud that I did it. I think it was a step in the right direction for me because, to be quite honest, I'm sick and tired of giving them my money and I'm getting laughed at for having a fucking opinion. And now that I'm not giving them money, I'm still not allowed to have an opinion on that product. I just don't understand where the logic comes from. It's like, either way, you're not allowed to have an opinion. Anything else, you could have an opinion. I mean, let's see. What do I got here? Let's see. This CD here. It's George Carlin. To me, he's the greatest comedian of all time. I think Dane Cook sucks. Does that make me an internet comedian fan? I don't know. Let's see. What other CD do I have here? Best of REM. I love REM. I think Justin Bieber sucks.
I mean, listen, it's like going to watch a movie.
Exactly.
And after you watch it like that movie really wasn't that good.
But you want to know the funny thing, Frank? And let's see, what other thing can I use? Okay, there's a video game. I love Assassin's Creed. Absolutely love it. It's my favorite game series. There was another game series I was into. It was called Tekken. Guess what? The last 2 games they had absolutely sucked. They're not around anymore.
Well,
and their sales bombed. So the way I look at it is this, Frank.
Nobody should expect too much out of WrestleMania this year.
Absolutely not. We're going to get into the WrestleMania card in our next segment, but Frank, that's the best way to end this segment before we go to the next. Don't expect much out of WrestleMania this year. I certainly am not. I'm not paying a fucking dime for that pay-per-view. There were 2 matches I wanted, and I was willing to settle for one of the 2. Undertaker versus Sting or Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar. Neither are happening. And they're the most logical matches to happen. But they're not. Doesn't matter. Like they said, Frank, just keep your mouth shut. Don't have an opinion, and if you like any wrestler that wrestled on the Independents, you're a mark. Last I checked, a guy named Mean Mark Callis wrestled on the Independents before he came to WWE. Did he not?
A lot of stars wrestled on the Independents.
I mean, that's my point. A guy named Stunning Steve Austin started out in WCCW, wrestled many different territories before WCW scooped him up, and then went to WWE. Some of the greats wrestled on the Independents before they came to the big leagues. Does that make them an indie guy? That's one thing. And you could quote this, that I agree with John Cena. Never thought I'd be saying this. He made a statement that I agree 100% with. I hate the term indie wrestler. The guy's either good or he's not. And that, to me, that's very accurate. Because
Once you get to WWE, you're not an indie wrestler anymore.
Exactly. And I wish you would plaster that on the fucking page, Frank, because you, from your mouth to God's ears, I agree with you 100%. Once you get into the WWE, you are no longer an indie wrestler. You are a WWE wrestler. Or superstar, whatever the fuck they're calling to keep themselves ahead of the law. But anyways, that's the end of this segment. Frank and I'll be back with our next segment to give our insight on WrestleMania 31.